Yo. So, everyone has a guilty pleasure movie. A movie that everyone else says, pretty much everyone else, critics and have watched the movie, everyone says it's bad. There's no redeeming qualities to it. But everyone has one of those movies that everyone else says is bad, but that they kind of secretly enjoy. That they might just find it fun, they might find it overly silly, it might fit into the category of so bad it's good. Everyone has one of those movies. You can try and deny it, but everyone has one. And for me, sad to say, my kind of guilty pleasure movie was the 2004 version of Thunderbirds. Okay, let me give you a little background information. As a child of the late 90s and kind of early 2000s, until DVD players really became kind of commonplace in homes, for the kind of first few years of my life, we had a VCR and kind of a load of VHS tapes that were kind of, most of them were kind of children's shows, which I would kind of watch every day, and kind of two of them were Thunderbirds, kind of episodes of the old kind of 60s TV show. There were 4 episodes in there in total, and while they weren't my favourite one to watch, I definitely watched them and I definitely enjoyed them. So, kind of, I didn't kind of see the reruns of it that went on in the 90s because, well, let's be honest, in the 90s, I was only in the 90s for about 3 years. Really 2, but anyway, so I knew the Thunderbirds pretty well growing up, thanks to watching those VHS tapes. And so when it was announced when the movie came out in 2004, I went to see it and I remember enjoying it. That was the thing for me. I enjoyed the movie. When I looked it up later on, though, I found that not many people did, and a lot of people kind of found it to be a bad movie, which I didn't really understand at the time. But as long-term viewers of my channel will know, the movie in the past made my top 10 favourite movies list at number 9 before it was eventually pushed off by Inside Out. So I was looking online recently, found it kind of fairly cheap, and thought to myself, why not? For me, it's a guilty pleasure. So I sat down, watched it back through, and to be honest, viewing it now that I'm an adult, I do kind of see what people meant. I admit it's not necessarily a good film, but I still enjoy it. I still found that it kind of brought back that childhood innocence, and just I find it fun. So what is there to say about it? I mean, yeah, for those who somehow don't know or don't choose to remember, the 2004 Thunderbirds movie kind of follows kind of roughly the plots of the show, only focusing mainly on the youngest member of the Tracy family, Alan, who's kind of constantly kind of pushed aside and kind of made fun of, while his kind of family, his father and his brothers, are off kind of saving the world with international rescue. Until one day when their island is taken over by a mysterious man named the Hood, played by Ben Kingsley, and it's up to Alan, his friend Fermat, and his other friend Tintin in order to kind of regain control and kind of help stop the Hood and save the world. That's all there really was to it. I mean, if you look on YouTube right now, you'll probably find a load of different reviews of people who hate this movie. Either hate it or just say, no, this is not a good movie. And to be fair, they probably have a point. But for me, kind of watching this movie, I don't know if I'm watching it with nostalgia glasses or kind of rose-tinted spectacles or whatever, but you know what? I enjoy it. You don't have to. You probably don't. But you know what? I enjoy this movie. It made my top 10 favourite movies list for 2 years. And you know what? I'm not going to apologise for that. I mean, yeah, maybe I am kind of wearing nostalgia glasses when I looked at it, but you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong about that. It's not the greatest movie ever, but you know what? For me, it holds a piece of kind of child nostalgia, and I still think I enjoy it. But yeah, as I said, it's not the best movie ever, and if you want a kind of loving kind of tribute of the original 60s show, then you're probably better watching the kind of reboot they did from 2015, which I've seen parts of it, and it's very good. But yeah, it's it's not necessarily a good adaptation of the 60s show. But you know what? It's still a good well, I don't know if I'd say good, but you know what? It's still a guilty pleasure for me, and that's why I ended up buying it. I mean, honestly, when kind of members of my family saw me watching that, one of them went, oh no, is this the bad movie with what's his name in it? Ben Kingsley? Yeah, him. Like, yeah, like, what are you watching? The 2004 Thunderbirds movie. Why? It was awful. Guilty pleasure, and that's all it'll ever be for me. A guilty pleasure. You don't have to enjoy it. You probably don't. But for me, it's a personal favourite, and as I said, a guilty pleasure. But anyway, what's your guilty pleasure movie? The movie that everyone else seems to dislike, but that you find yourself strangely enjoying. Feel free to leave it down below. Should make for an interesting conversation. Until then, well, why don't you go off yourself and watch your own guilty pleasure movie? See ya.